Have you ever felt that, no matter how hard you try to fit in, there's something about you that's just not like everyone else? Maybe it's that feeling that things around you happen differently, as if there's a bigger plan guiding your life. And you know what's even more curious? It's not just your imagination. There are signs, small and almost imperceptible to many, that prove you've been chosen for something special. But here's the key point. These signs are strange, counterintuitive, and many people don't understand what's happening. You might think, but why me? The answer is closer than you think. God doesn't choose the obvious. He chooses those who can endure, those who have the capacity to carry a purpose much greater than they imagine. Don't expect logical explanations because often logic fails when it comes to divine plans. And what if I told you that there's something grand reserved for you? Something most people will never experience. That's exactly what we're about to explore. Get ready to discover what few dare to talk about. These 7 signs will show you that you are not just anyone. You are someone whom God has set apart for a unique mission, and these characteristics that seem out of the ordinary are, in fact, proof that you're on the right path. Are you ready to understand why your life follows such a different route? Don't be scared by what's coming. Every detail of your journey has a clear purpose. And it all starts here. A spiritually unique person is someone who, without realizing it, exerts a kind of magnetism around them. Maybe you've noticed strangers approaching you without an apparent reason, as if your presence is a beacon. This is no coincidence. When you carry a heightened spiritual energy, your inner light naturally attracts those who need a bit of that vibration. It's not just about having a good conversation. It's about offering peace, a peace that others may not even know they need, but subconsciously seek. And this intuition, which seems heightened, is something that makes you stand out. You notice subtle changes in people, environments, and even challenges that arise before others do. It's not just a perception. It's a true gift that makes the toughest decisions seem simple to you. Who wouldn't want to have such an ease navigating life's uncertainties? You have that gift, even if you don't always realize it. But this spiritual magnetism doesn't come without challenges. Often, it can be a blessing in disguise, where people may see you as different, perhaps even intimidated by your presence. And that's okay because it's a sign that your mission is greater than just being another person. The next time someone looks at you curiously or even suspiciously, remember, you were chosen for a higher purpose. This is Christian motivation, divine inspiration to stay strong on the path God has set for you. And of course, this journey of being spiritually unique comes with its surprises. Every encounter, every new person who approaches you is another piece of the puzzle to your spiritual purpose. Don't worry, soon you'll discover how your intuition, already strong, will develop even further, guiding you in ways you never imagined. Your intuition, much like that of many saints and mystics in the Catholic Church, is a gift that comes directly from God. When you feel that strong impression in your heart, as if something is about to happen, know that it is the Holy Spirit alerting you. Many saints spoke of this kind of sensitivity, like Saint Teresa of Avila, who knew when something important was about to occur. This gift allows you to always be prepared, even when everything around you seems uncertain. It's not just a natural instinct, but a divine connection that guides you. This heightened intuition is not something to be feared, but embraced with faith. In moments when you feel something is off, it could be God protecting you from difficult situations. It's like the discernment that so many saints practiced in their lives, knowing how to distinguish God's will from the world's traps. When you feel this guidance, you can be sure that it's the Lord showing you the way forward. Trusting in God, as taught by the Church, should always be your foundation in these moments. The practice of silence and prayer can also help you listen more closely to this inner voice. The Church teaches us the value of solitude, of meditating on Christ's mysteries, as a way to enhance our spiritual hearing. You could start with the Rosary, asking the Virgin Mary to intercede for you, so that your intuition becomes clearer and stronger. Small moments of daily prayer can transform how you perceive the world around you. As you strengthen this intuition, you'll notice that you can foresee things with greater calmness. It's not about predicting the future, but about being in tune with God's will, just like the prophets who, in their time, heard the divine voice and followed their mission. The next step of your spiritual journey may reveal even more about how your emotions are also part of this discernment process. Emotional sensitivity is one of the gifts that God gives to those who have a deep connection with Him. Just like Jesus wept for Lazarus' death, even knowing he would raise him, you also feel emotions more intensely. This sensitivity is a blessing because it allows you to feel others' pain and offer comfort, something so needed in a world full of indifference. However, this empathy can be a cross to bear, as not everyone around you will understand just how deeply you care. This emotional sensitivity, however, reflects Christ's heart within you. The Catholic Church has always valued this ability to put oneself in another's place, to live charity in daily life. Saints like Mother Teresa of Calcutta lived this empathy intensely, feeling the pain of the poorest and most vulnerable. You are also called to this path, to be a comforting presence for those who suffer, even when it feels like a heavy burden. Remember, by doing this, you are following the example of Christ, who had compassion for the afflicted. It's important, however, to learn how to manage this sensitivity so it doesn't overwhelm you. The Church teaches the importance of balancing action with prayer, so we can offer our best without becoming worn out. If you feel your emotions are too much to handle, seek refuge in prayer. The Rosary, once again, is a great companion in these moments because it elevates your heart to God and brings the peace needed to move forward. As you learn to use this sensitivity in a balanced way, you'll realize that it's one of the greatest gifts you possess. This empathy allows you to help others in ways that few people can. And soon, as you understand more about your journey, you'll see that even spiritual signs, like waking up at specific times in the early morning, may be connected to the greater purpose God has for your life. Waking up consistently between 3 and 4 a.m. is something that, in Catholic spirituality, can be seen as a call from God. This time, often referred to as the spiritual hour, is a moment when the world is silent and distractions are minimal. Many saints and mystics reported that their deepest prayers took place during this period, when their connection with the divine seemed clearer. If you've been waking up at this time, consider it a sign that God is seeking a more intimate communication with you. In Catholic tradition, this awakening can be interpreted as an opportunity for prayer. Saint Ignatius of Loyola, for example, taught that during these moments, the silence of the night favors the listening to God's voice. When you wake up at this hour, it might be the perfect time to recite a brief prayer, such as the Our Father or the Hail Mary, dedicating that moment to God. It's as if He's calling you for a personal encounter, an invitation to strengthen your spirituality even further. This habit of waking up in the early morning can be seen as a sign that you are receiving special guidance. The Church teaches us that God speaks in mysterious ways, and often He wakes us during these hours so we can prepare for something greater. If you feel peace upon waking, take the time to meditate on your life, your purposes, and how you can be an instrument of God in the world. This is one of the signs of Christian inspiration, something He is awakening within you. As this practice becomes more common, you'll begin to notice that this quiet time with God brings you a clarity that the more hectic hours of the day don't allow. It's a moment of spiritual intimacy, where the answers you seek may begin to reveal themselves. And speaking of solitude, soon you'll see how the time you spend with yourself is also a fundamental part of your spiritual growth. Embracing solitude in Catholic spirituality is understanding that silence and seclusion are precious moments for encountering God. Many saints, like Saint John of the Cross, found in solitude a space to draw closer to the Creator and hear His voice more clearly. This time of isolation is not an escape from the world, but an opportunity to strengthen oneself spiritually. When you find yourself alone, know that this can be a divine opportunity to reflect on your mission and align your steps with God's will. Solitude, far from being a punishment, is a hidden blessing. The Church teaches us that Jesus, at various points in his ministry, would withdraw to pray alone, seeking the strength necessary to continue his journey. If even the Son of God valued these moments, you can also learn to transform silence into a place of growth. Use this time for contemplative prayer, to meditate on the mysteries of the gospel, and to reconnect with the divine grace that dwells within you. During these moments of solitude, you'll be able to hear God's voice more clearly. Saint Anthony, one of the great desert fathers, spent almost his entire life in retreat, seeking God's face in the silence of the desert. He teaches us that, in solitude, we find the truth about ourselves and our purpose. When you feel isolated, remember that you are not alone. God is with you, shaping and preparing you for greater challenges. This retreat is part of your spiritual journey. In time, you'll realize that this isolation is not something negative, but rather a form of purification. In solitude, your faith deepens, your prayers become more sincere, and you draw closer to God's heart. And just as Jesus found strength in his moments of solitary prayer, you too will discover that these periods are essential for your spiritual preparation. What you do with this time of isolation can define the next steps in your journey, and the awakening of your spirituality is just beginning. Have you ever thought about how these signs impact your life? They are not coincidences. Everything you've learned up to this point has a purpose. God is calling you to something greater, and now that you know these signs, the question remains: what will you do with this knowledge? Will you continue to ignore the call, or will you finally act and live the life you were destined for? The choice is yours. Are you ready to live your mission and apply everything you've learned? Don't delay what God is already showing you today. Share in the comments how these signs appear in your life. And if you want to keep receiving these teachings and unlock even more of your spirituality, subscribe to the channel and activate the notifications. Your journey is just beginning, and there is so much more waiting for you.